Hello everyone, welcome back to Cliff Soccer Zone. Today we're going to talk about Liverpool's 1-0 victory over PSG in the UEFA Champions League round of 16 first leg and how much the element of luck impacted the outcome of the match, which I personally think is a little bit of an oversimplification of that particular match. But I understand in some aspects why some would say Liverpool were lucky to leave the Parc des Princes with the 1-0 victory. The first thing that needs to be talked about in terms of the element of luck is whether Konate was lucky to not be given a red card for denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity to Bradley Barcola. Which in my opinion, as well as the opinion of referee experts over here in the United States, we have CBS who covers the UEFA Champions League matches, and their referee expert, Christina Unkel, believed that the VAR made an error by not recommending a red card review for denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity. So at least in terms of what referee experts are saying, as well as over here in the States, we obviously have Liverpool legend Jamie Carragher as talking in terms of for talking about the games that take place for the United States coverage of the UEFA Champions League, and he believes as well that Konate was very lucky not to be given a red card. Which, as I said, it happens. There are instances where a team gets lucky in that regard in terms of whether it literally happened the day before in the UEFA Champions League. Miles Lewis-Skelly was very lucky not to be given a second yellow in that regard. It happens. So the thing is that I don't understand why Liverpool fans refuse to admit that. It probably has to do with them thinking that if they admit that was lucky, it'll be misconstrued to that they believe the entirety of Liverpool's season has been all luck, which I don't see how that connection could be possibly made, but I guess I kind of understand why Liverpool fans may be hesitant to say so. But the thing is that bothered me at least was them doubling down on that they didn't get lucky and that wasn't a clear red card by arguing that Barcola was offside and using images where the ball was actually already halfway to Bradley Barcola from the player that kicked it to Bradley Barcola. They're arguing based on that particular image that Barcola was offside, which in that image that went around, it did appear he was past the Liverpool back line, but as I mentioned, the ball was already halfway to Bradley Barcola, which isn't how offside is measured. It's measured from when the player passes the ball to the player who made the run. And when you show the image of that, when the ball is kicked to Bradley Barcola is well onside, and the Liverpool fans trying to use that image, in my opinion, was, as what people say these days, copium from the Liverpool fans. With that particular incident, at least in my opinion. But basically, the other element of luck, you could argue, is from the only time that the ball ended up in Liverpool's net, which was when Kavicha Kvaratskhelia curled the ball into the back of the net, but in the build-up to that goal, his heel, maybe an inch, maybe only a few centimeters offside. Yes, you could argue offsides, which I kind of agree with in that aspect, that an offside is an offside. It's not an element of luck, but some could argue that it was that close in terms of letting the ball being offside, in terms of Kavicha Kvaratskhelia heel being that close to being offside, or that his heel was offside. So that argument, in my opinion, doesn't hold much water, but I can somewhat understand that argument for the luck aspect. The other element that I believe in terms of the luck aspect of that holds some water as well is that the fact that, yes, Alisson had the game of his life, and he even admits so himself, The luck element is that the fact that that particular game just happened to be the best game of his entire career in a Liverpool shirt. That argument I can understand in that regard, but I think it was more from a skill aspect in terms of Alisson having a dominant performance, making save after save after save, and not only making great saves, having great rebound control by getting the ball out of play or getting it safely to one of his teammates, which, in my opinion, rebound control, yes, a good goalie can save, just make a save, but if he doesn't put the ball safely out of play and accidentally hits it to the other team and the other team goes and scores, it kind of defeats the purpose of making the save in the first place. So, in my opinion, rebound control is what separates the good goalkeepers from the great goalkeepers. And yesterday, Alisson showed why he is a great goalkeeper and arguably even getting on the precipice. I think he's already there, but if he isn't, he's at least on the precipice of the legendary goalkeeper status, in my opinion. And the thing is that you could also argue, or at least it's being argued, that the fact that PSG didn't take advantage of their domination, Bradley Barcola, Kavicha Kvaratskhelia, Ousmane Dembele, Nuno Mendes, and several other of the PSG players were absolutely running around in circles and cooking the Liverpool backline defense as well as the midfielders, and they were struggling to contain them all game long, and it was only Alisson that was able to keep Liverpool in that match for that long. And as you're aware from watching the game, that it also took the guts of Arne Slot in the 80-something minute to take off arguably the best player in the world at the moment in Mohamed Salah. Yes, he wasn't having the greatest game on that particular match. Wasn't having the greatest game then, but the fact that, as I said, he had the guts to take him off and put on a super sub who, at least for him, hasn't performed anywhere close to where Harvey Elliott has performed for Jurgen Klopp in that super sub role. He hasn't really performed for Arne Slot, and Arne Slot trusted Harvey Elliott. Darwin Núñez, he also brings on Darwin Núñez, which I think Arne Slot deserves a lot of credit in that regard, that Darwin Núñez holds the ball up beautifully, then slides the ball to Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott shoots, and you could argue, yes, Donnarumma maybe should have saved it, but I think that is a stroke of genius from Arne Slot, as I said, having the guts to take off Mo Salah and put on Harvey Elliott, and with Harvey Elliott's first touch of the game, scores, and essentially Liverpool have the classic smash and grab. They have the classic smash and grab and leave the Parc des Princes with a 1-0 victory, which largely, in my opinion, is due to Alisson having his best performance in a Liverpool shirt, as well as Arne Slot having the guts to take off Mo Salah and put on Harvey Elliott, and Harvey Elliott scores. Some have argued that is an element of luck. I think that's just good management and noticing, yes, there is the possibility that Mo Salah could turn it around and score the winning goal out of nowhere after having a bad performance. He has done that before, but the fact that, as I said, Slot had the guts to take off Salah, puts on Harvey Elliott scores, that needs to be praised in my opinion, as opposed to being, oh, that's just luck, which unfortunately is something, as I said, that's been talked about Liverpool this entire season, which, as I said, I think is a very oversimplification of how good of a team this Liverpool team has been this season. But as I said, it was an absolutely amazing performance from Alisson, as well as I said, Arne Slot making the tactical substitution that won them the game. And we're going to have a great second leg at Anfield in the return leg, where a 1-0 victory, yes, Liverpool will be favorites going back to Anfield, but PSG held their head high, and they even, Luis Enrique even said as much after the game that he feels they have a good chance to win at Anfield. And to be honest with you, I think he kind of has a point. I don't think they will win at Anfield, but being a PSG, if you were a PSG fan or even one of the PSG players, you have to take signs of encouragement to playing that well against this good of a Liverpool team. Yes, it could be argued that Liverpool purposely sat back playing for the draw, essentially, to try to take a 0-0 draw back to Anfield and then win it in the second leg. But still, even then, to perform that well against this Liverpool team, in my opinion, is very impressive. Yes, they didn't finish their dinner and score any of their chances, but that largely was because of Alisson's brilliance, in my opinion. So we're gonna have a great second leg, and we'll see what happens. I personally, as I said, think Liverpool will go through to the next round, and where they would play either Aston Villa or Club Brugge. It's looking like it's going to be Aston Villa, as Villa have a 3-1 aggregate lead heading back to Birmingham and Villa Park. So it's looking like we're going to have in my opinion, it's looking like we'll have an all-England quarterfinal clash between Liverpool and Aston Villa. But as I said, we'll see what happens in the second leg. Thanks again for watching this video. I would appreciate it if you guys could leave a like, if you could comment, and if you could subscribe to the channel. You could also follow me on my Twitter/X page @CliffSoccerZone if you want more content than my just my YouTube channel. I would appreciate if you interacted with the content. And thanks again. Take care.